mess it up live, you know.
It's always best to mess it up live.
We have to stay on brand, right? I mean, we got to stay on brand.
Well, I'm just excited that you were able to carve out some time while you were still in Vegas. Obviously, hey, welcome everybody to the best of our week. We're gonna try and keep the show a little bit more condensed because I think TK's family is still asleep. So.
Surprisingly, yes, you would be surprised that people sleep.
So TK is going to be doing a lot of this kind of talking about his experiences from the show floor.
Again, I just think it's hilarious, you know, being the theater nerd. Whenever you get that soda voce, I'm fake whispering so everyone in the theater can still hear me.
Yeah, no. So I'm actually a total opposite of where the beds are. I'm trying to keep it cool and quiet, but hopefully the Go Wireless 2 does the job it's supposed to, and you know, make sure that I'm still clear. So we're good.
You're sounding pretty good on this end, but we want to jump in because we're going to try and keep the show a little bit more focused because you got your last day out in Vegas still to kind of tackle.
Surprisingly, it is, yeah, last day of CES, and they not only that, they close early too. They don't stay up till 6.
Yeah.
They stay up till 4, I think. So,
do you remember the old classic days of CES where you'd kind of try to stay to the last day and then walk around, especially like some of the smaller booths, and be like, well, I mean, if you just want to give me, you wouldn't have to pack it and take it home with you if you just wanted to hook me up with.
Yeah, I'd be
and
totally
sometimes that would work.
So typically that usually would happen, but this year, seriously, dude, the experience, seriously, every day at CES feels like the last day of CES. The show floor is halfway empty.
Yeah.
A lot of booths are empty. The LG booth was one of the most interesting ones to look at because of the fact that it's there, but it's not there. It's like a virtual thing. And it just, yeah, like I did not bump shoulders with anybody at the show. I did not have to fight to go through. No. It was literally walking. It was very relaxed. It felt like it's the last day of CES, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. I like the low turnout.
Right.
But of course, I'm not. I mean, it has a flip side, obviously, because not everybody else is there. But you know, actually, overall, it's been okay. For the companies that they show up, they had some amazing things to cover and show. And the people that they weren't able to come out, they still had some amazing announcements. I mean, OnePlus didn't get a chance to come out; they were supposed to, but you know, the 10 Pro still got announced. Hopefully, we'll see the launch next week. You know, it's still exciting. It's only missing you. I'll say that. Everybody kept saying, "Where's Juan?" We knew he was going to come for like a day. And seriously, like I'm talking Adam, Steve, I'm talking
Rolando
was
really calling me out. It was awesome.
Yeah, so, he said, make sure you go bug Juan when you get there. I said, absolutely, bud, absolutely.
You know, the jobs that I had lined up to make it worth going out to Vegas all kind of got pulled. And even the sort of follow-up, the editorial gigs that I was working out here, everyone was kind of like, I don't know, CES news. So I think you know the fact that you got to go out there and you actually got to go and hit a PepCom, and were you at Showstoppers? Did you get to do that one?
Yeah. Showstoppers was well. That's where I saw NEX. So
yeah. So I wanted to segue. Hey, it's almost like I can host a show occasionally. I wanted to jump right in on that because I kind of feel for us in the nerdiest circles, two of the companies that had surprising turnout, surprisingly exciting announcements were NEX and TCL. And you got to go and check out both. So I think we should start with NEX Docs because that got me all kinds of nerdy Twitter-pated.
So you started me on that. You started. So you tweeted that on, was it the day before, I think? Was the day of PepCon was when you tweeted it. And I was like looking at it, I was like, am I going to run into them? Am I going to see them? PepCom, they weren't there. And PepCom was also kind of like in the same mood. Not exactly, like there was not even dividers. It was just basically tables all around.
You sent me a photo that did kind of break my heart. So I think it was PepCom, and it was this wide open ballroom with like one person wearing a mask at each table, and it's just PepComs are my favorite. PepComs and Showstoppers, these like mini shows, because everyone's packed in there. There's food, there's drinks, people are milling around, everybody's talking. That's where the media they get to have a good time and get to kind of get some more face time. And so to see a PepCom. To see a PepCom that was a wide open ballroom did kind of hurt my soul a
They
little
had a
bit.
DeLorean in the middle of the show floor, and that was very exciting. So that was nice. But
But still.
yeah, because like I think the last time I was here, it was a football theme. This year is Back to the Future type of theme.
Yeah.
And you know, kind of taking us back to a better time, I guess, if there was any kind of hint kind of thing they were trying to go with. I mean, it was still decent. There was still, I mean, I saw Anchor. I saw actually one of my most interesting pieces of tech at CES was at PepCom. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, so PepCom and Showstoppers for me are seriously some of my favorite things to attend. Obviously outside of the show floor, but we get more conversations. It's more personal. It's less crowded. Even though it's just media and there's a lot of us, it's still less crowded than typically what the show floor would have been. So it was definitely nice. Again, missing you, wish you were there. It would have been totally a much better fun
Same,
time
buddy.
hanging out there. Yeah.
Same.
Everybody. I mean, I saw so all of our friends. Just for heads up for everybody that showed up to CES, I got a chance to hit them up. I got a chance to see them, even if it wasn't at the first day, second day. Some of them I ran into at the Samsung booth. Some of them I ran into on the show floor. It was crazy. You run into people and you're like, oh my God, you're there. So
It's you, and you're not in a box in my computer screen.
absolutely, yeah. It was one of those. But like Lover of Tech, Ben was there, and I ran into him. We couldn't see him on the first couple of days, but then I saw him in person. It was so nice to see him in person. So yeah, for sure. Missing you all, of course. I wish everybody was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no, seriously. NEX was at Showstoppers. I walked in, and of course, first question they asked me is, "Hey, how are you doing? Where's Juan?" Because they thought we would be the same thing, and I said, "He's not with us here. I mean, in person." I didn't say you're not with us anymore. And I said that it was.
He's not with us anymore.
No, it came out with the way I said it when I first started. I said he's not with us. He's not with us. And then she looked at me first. I said, no. I didn't mean not anymore. I meant here.
That's hilarious, though.
It was a bad start. And
That's
then,
quite all right.
And then they were very happy. And as you said, amazing new tech. A slightly different approach to what they've done in the past, but still sticking to the core experience of augmenting PC experience or your smartphone. So the two different things they had the slab, and then they had the I think was it the dock. I want to say.
I'm gonna try and screen share here so that we can.
Because
pull
it's
it
on
up.
their
You
site.
you keep talking.
And the two premise between on this is beautiful right there. So the two products that they're talking to right now, they're running them in, I think it's like in early pre-orders, and because they keep it lean. So the next monitor is exactly what it looks like. It's a behemoth of a stand, but what they don't show you in this picture is the hub that's spec'd in on the back of it, Ethernet. So the one that they showed me there had micro SD, but it actually has it'll have a full SD. And I kind of asked them if possible to put in a high-speed one in case they want to, if they're taking any recommendations. And of course HDMI in, all the bells and whistles that you'd imagine. Two different editions of this, a 2K and a 4K edition, which was absolutely mind-blowing. And even the 4K was like 500 something, way cheaper than an Apple monitor. I know it kind of looks like an Apple accessory, but understanding everything that works there is purposely built. And as you see down on the right side, that there is magnets with a wireless charging pad. So it's not just for show. So if let's say you're using this with, let's say, a Mac Mini or some kind of a smaller PC experience like a Nook.
The first thing I thought of was like, I want to get my little Core i3 Nook and put that like right next to it, and then
absolutely fanless experience is for the win on this one. And it has a connectivity. You can charge your phone, put it in there, so you have your phone always in front. And if you have DeX, it runs DeX beautifully. No touch control, but absolutely gorgeous. It is a gorgeous piece of tech.
Especially when we were sort of traveling more, this was one of the concepts I always imagined when Huawei's desktop mode started hitting. Well, I think it was the Mate 10, I believe they started making.
I want to say it started with the Mate 10, and then it kept getting better and better. I mean, it still exists technically.
This to me was like, hey, you arrive at a hotel, you have their office center. And instead of having really crappy compact Presarios from 10 years ago in the office center, you just have these.
Yeah.
And you plug in your phone, and it's all right there, and you can work in the office center, or you can have something like this in your home, and family comes to visit, they plug in their phone, and boom, you've got like their own computer, which is completely free of any kind of trading of information. I had to print a photo out at a Walgreens over Thanksgiving. And it really weirded me out that the only way we could get the photo transferred to Walgreens was to plug in my phone and let it deep scan everything on my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
I'm not okay with that.
So
And so something like this to me was always sort of the dream. Your phone is already your main lifestyle computer. Now we can do something like this with it, where it should be so much easier to use that compute power and to get more out of it.
It is. And like I said, the way they approached it with this approach here was it's so much more flexible than when most NEX stocks that we've seen in the past, because it works with a PC and it does provide power. So it's a super, like I said, we've done the oh man, what was the other one? The other little portable PCs, the PC sticks.
Was it Excel?
No. I think we both. Oh my God!
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called.
And we had even the small desk, the desktop one. Oh my God! Okay.
I'm gonna look it up. But we know what you're talking about.
It absolutely fits there, and it works. It works totally. Like one of the best options there. But that's not even so this one is cool, by the way. If you're looking for more of a stationary experience, and this is the thing that you want, this obviously will fit everything that you want, and it'll work perfectly. Great design.
Azul.
Azul, thank you. Yeah, exactly. The Azul PC sticks. Or the Azul.
The little mini,
yeah. The mini one I think would be better, because you can expand it, add an SSD. I added actually extra RAM on mine, so I think it'll be totally one of those. Hey, Rolando's in the chat. Hey man, hope you're doing well. I hope you have a good travel. He's going back home later this morning, so he's almost done with CES and kicking it with us.
Joining us on the live stream before he jumps on a plane.
Absolutely.
So this to me, again, it's the thing that I think is kind of frustrating about the tech community. If you'll allow me to soapbox for just a second,
Please.
We want more capabilities, we want more flexibility, and I think one of the exciting areas that's very, very underrepresented, it's underrated, is getting some kind of extra display. And a portable display, a laptop dock. Again, what's making me really excited about NEX is a concept for a tablet dock that also uses something very similar to this. I understand why techies say things like, well, average people don't do this, and that's why it's not very popular. But instead of using their platforms to try and push some of this more advanced use, they just sort of shrug their shoulders and throw up their hands and give up. Yeah. And I think it's one of these companies. It's a company like NextDock or UPerfect or some of these other really boutique-y manufacturers that are still kind of keeping this dream alive. I think they need, sort of disproportionate coverage for the size of their company, because a concept like this, again, there are going to be a bunch of people who complain that it's not like perfectly all put together, and there's a cable that has to wrap around to the back and how clumsy, and yet there's literally nothing on the market that does something like this. And it definitely won't come from a major manufacturer at the price point that NextDock is going to sell this at. And this to me is an exciting application of screen sharing, screen mirroring, having a portable display, a display that can be used with anything. Like, they're showing it with a phone. The tablet makes me really excited for cameras. The ability to have
PCs. They were actually on the show floor. They were running it as a monitor.
And running a PC. But again, think about like those times, you and me, maybe we want to do a live stream and we want to use a nicer camera. The little flip out display doesn't really help us if we're trying to set up a wide shot, but we would have a cheap, easy to plug in, battery powered, portable display ready to go. That type of functionality just across the board. You don't realize how many solutions you were in need of that a portable display like this can solve until you really play with one.
And it has magnets at the bottom, so it can magnetically clamp to your tripod if you need it. There's that extra. So the setup that you see there, so it's a 12-inch display, if I remember correctly. It's a touch display, which makes it even more functional. So even if you connect it to your PC, to your smartphone, if you have a desk experience, or even screen mirroring, it works beautifully. Connects there. The magnets are strong enough to, if you have the They have some pads in there that for magnets, like iPhones will work perfectly, but it's intended, with Android so on for desktop experiences. And it'll hold the phone in that spot as they're showing it with that hand holding. So it is very versatile, very flexible, works with the PC, your smartphone, and like you said, with your camera. And this is where the capabilities, what surprised me even the most. They took the concept of what the NEX dock was really good at, and they made the form factor work better. And I'm hoping they make them a little bit bigger too, because I feel like 12 inches is great for like more of like the MacBook Air, lighter, smaller laptops, or like more of those. But for me, I was like, first thing I started geeking, I was like, okay, where is it going to be where we have dual monitors, NEX dock in it? And I was like, TK, we're starting with this. I know you're
Right.
There are things in the works, but the team was very happy to see us.
They just sort of pat you on the shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
Eventually.
Yeah, roadmap,
Sure.
of course. I'm just happy that they're still, and they brought the 360 with them as well. So the 360 dock that we have, the one that looks like a laptop, is still there.
Yeah.
And
I always have it within arm's reach. I'll grab it right now.
So it is one of those really, really nice accessories, and like it was a very nice surprise. Yeah, going into Showstoppers and seeing NEX right away, that was like my first thought. So it was an absolute pleasure.
But
and
wait, that's
happy.
not all.
No, of course not.
Because they also had a more traditional. They have a picture on their website showing a Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Again, this base plate for the NEX monitor. But this one I also thought was kind of interesting.
So that's the actual tab. That's the actual. And that's the configuration that I feel like is the most, like the best real solution. Because we've seen I mean, I have one right now on mine where on the computer we're talking. I have a secondary monitor that slides out. This one works the exact same, but that monitor for me is connected to my PC. It's not something I could just take out and connect my phone, and it's just not as functional. So this is amazing. Yeah, like
So some, again, like this is the type of versatility we're talking about, where I think I shared this photo and people thought this was a separate product.
Yeah, no.
Oh, so wait a minute. They're going to sell one for phones as a tablet, and then a different one that clamps to your laptop, and you're like, I don't think you realize just how versatile it is to have a portable battery-powered display that can do anything. My favorite thing still is to pull out that SNES Mini and then hook it up
on that
to this, and it's powered by the battery in here, and you've got your own portable
gaming
Super Nintendo.
I think that was a great opportunity, man. Nintendo definitely has a very good product on their hand with that. The Mini, or even the original NES, those reboots are very nice. And yeah, like you could see it there. You could run a secondary monitor for your main laptop. There's so many options, and the display is really gorgeous. They didn't have the 4K, but even the 2K looked amazing. Like the pixel density, the quality, the machining of the product is definitely very straight edged, like a lot of sharp angles. But it still fit what NEX dock can, the style of work, and you could see minimalistic, all the different options. So very excited. Yeah, I was happy. Like I saw that tweet, and when I saw them, I was like, yes, I have made it. I have unlocked the next challenge going on with CES. So I'm happy with that one. Hey, David is in the chat as well. I see a whole bunch of Michael Corrigan is in there as well. Greg, Dan's in there as well, and I see Gary the fireman, Rolando. All of our friends, everybody. Barry Johnson's in there. Oliver's in there as well.
We need to take just a quick pause to send some love and well wishes out to Rolando, because apparently there's some family stuff that he's got to take care of. So hopefully you're doing all right, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Not to make your issues the focus of our show, but know that we're looking out for you.
Oh, no, absolutely, and it is always hard. I mean, traveling, with family or without your family, it's you have to figure things out. So, best of luck, man, and safe travels back. And we'll stay in touch. We'll see how things go.
So, switching gears, TCL. You also got to spend some time at TCL. Let me see if I can pull up
the TCL of TCLs.
TCL.
Yeah, the TCLs. We need to put an S at the end of that one. That was a lot of TCL.
There was a lot of TCL.
Yeah. I walked in on Monday to the press briefing, and it was not what I was expecting. I mean, I expected some of the stuff there, but not everything that was there. And then I'm walking in there, and I'm seeing a laptop. I'm like, okay, wait, hold on a second. I didn't know about the laptop. And then I'm seeing another tablet other than the Tab Pro that came to the US. And then I see the new XR AR glasses. I'm like, where is all of this coming from? Like, why did you? And they were like, well, we wanted to surprise you a little bit. I'm like, you surprised me. You got me. is one of those experiences.
Yeah, I mean, only a portion of this is on their actual CES page.
Yeah.
Like what? Let me screen share because this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just run their CES page, and then they probably had about twice as much stuff actually on display.
And we're not even talking about TV section right now. We're only talking mobile. The mobile is what I got a chance to see. And then when I went over to the booth, the TVs, man, this is crazy. And also they have a lot more, there's way more TCL products that I didn't even know, but it seems like they're getting into the refrigerator section department at some point. They're also getting into, it was like robot vacuums. We know about the air purifier and stuff like, they're touching on everything.
Okay,
As
real
a label,
quick,
yeah.
hold on. Chrome just crashed. So I'm completely white screened on Chrome and I can't touch anything. So I'm gonna bounce out and jump back in real quick after killing Chrome. So give me, because we're doing it live. I mean,
no, that's how we do it. So I'll keep talking about
one
TCL.
of us needs to have a catastrophic failure in the middle of our show, or it's just not our show. So I'll be right back.
Will do. So yeah, as Juan's doing the little bounce out and bounce back in kind of thing going on, TCL's was really nice. Like seriously, some of the stuff, and Rolando was with me as well. That's when we first ran into each other. I even saw Adam from Tech Odyssey and a whole bunch of people, which was really, really nice. And then of course, the PC was actually the most surprising piece that I actually wasn't expecting, because I've known they've been in mobile tech, but running a Windows 11 PC on the Windows, so they're using the Snapdragon 7C architecture from Qualcomm, and they're running Windows 11. It's an ultralight laptop, and it's interesting to see Juan in. Okay, thank you. You had to remove yourself. I see how that is. Yeah, you're still stuck there.
Yeah, it's pretty great. All right, I'm gonna try and share this one more time, and if TCL's page borks on us again, and I need to do that dance, then we'll just talk about TCL, and we won't worry about making it a thing.
Yeah. The catastrophic.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is the TCL CES page, and they show like their video brief. So that was cool. Obviously, one of the big announcements was their wall television, a 98-inch television. They've got some stuff to talk about TVs, faster refresh rate, better stuff for gaming, some of their home audio kit, their soundbar tech. Sort of showing off the new 30 series TCL
two of them.
phones.
Yeah, so we got to see two of the edition, and apparently there's at least another 6 different models that are going to be coming out later.
It's going to be a whole shotgun spread of phones from TCL.
Yeah, it's 30 series for sure. But there's quite a bit of
a robot vacuum, and then just a wrap up of their like home cleaning tech, and then like an air purifier. There was so much more that they had to show off, and so I need to bug you like crazy. What were the glasses like? Because the glasses for me were one of the most exciting announcements.
So the first pair that we're talking about, obviously, you got a chance to play with an early version of it. So the NEX Wear. So the NEX Wear G, I think, is the one that you played. You got a chance to use, and catastrophic failure brought to you. But
no, you keep talking. I'm going to put up comments. Don't let them distract you. Stay on target.
So the NEX Wear G are lighter, smaller, way more functional, and the biggest kick about them is they support way more devices. It's no longer tied specifically to TCL, which I felt like was, in a way, was the right move to do, because the G was pretty much you had to run it on a specific TCL device. It has to have.
It was really twitchy. I got it to work on DeX. It did work on DeX, but again, it wasn't a universal kind of solution. So seeing them open up and expand compatibility on the refresh looked really exciting.
So yeah, absolutely. And so we're still talking about a super large, very light frame. And I love the fact that they changed the cover frames on them. So they're no longer just one frame and that's what you get. So there's one that was called the Blackout, which gives you that theater experience. And then there's one that looks more like regular glasses. They're still looking
That's
like
exactly
Ray-Bans.
what I said in my video on them. Is like, if you could just give me like some sort of adjustable or clip-on tunnel vision. Or
TCL listens. This is the big thing of the difference between TCL and other brands. They listen to feedback. And then they have, of course, another one that just changed the whole frame look, but the concept is still there. Lightweight, portable, basically monitoring audio solution. They still have the built-in speakers. You can obviously listen to Bluetooth through your phone. And then you're also able to watch 3D content on them. They're very nice. They still haven't given me specifics as far when it's coming out, but it is something that is coming to the U.S. market, which is nice. Because the Nextwear G, I don't think was intended for the U.S.
So, as far as I understood, TCL, because again, every region, and I think we're starting to get a better education on this kind of stuff with every manufacturer. Like, I think I learned this the hard way with LG, right? LG has different distribution models for different regions around the world, and if it's a carrier relationship versus another retail relationship, and I think TCL kind of fell into that same issue with the first Nextwear, where I believe, and again, I'm kind of guessing, like I don't have any insight into TCL's business model here, even though we talk a lot to TCL PR, but I'm gleaning there was a strategy to bring it to the United States based on some kind of retail relationship that then just kind of fell apart. So if TCL can kind of back these properly on their own, as opposed to making it some kind of partnership, then I think they'll have at least a pathway. This is going to be a very niche kind of product to start, but I think there's so much potential. Like I think about my experiences in college and how cool it would have been to have my own sort of private cinema or private television in kind of a dorm environment.
Absolutely,
and I think about
car trips, travel, anything like that. Anything that
teenagers and older kids in bedrooms instead of trying to find a way to wall mount a TV. Some passive viewing. And then for travel, again, like the Nextwear G were awesome road tripping, where, there were a couple times like I really should do this from something more like a laptop setup. Can't do that in a car. And yet here I was like wearing this display and still kind of being able to kind of peripheral see my wife while she was driving part of the trip.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. You don't have to put the frames on.
It's so open.
Exactly. They're not AR or XR exactly. That's the other pair of glasses they had. But the Nextwear Air are definitely, I think they're going to be a massive hit, especially, like I said, with the support of other devices and the evolutionary upgrade that we saw over the G with the changeable lenses, the setup, they're lighter and smaller. Yeah.
Nextwear, really cool. I love the idea of having a wearable, massive TV-style display, but there was another pair of glasses there.
So they're naming them obviously, or they're branding this thing as the prototype is the one that we saw. It is basically Google Glass, where TCL took that and made them into regular glasses. The glasses right now, at least in the prototype stage, still have two displays sitting in there. So you get a display on the center and the display on the side, and they're all like mini LEDs, and they you can't see them when you're looking straight at the glasses, but slightly at offset. And they're saying it's going to get better with the final product. And touch sensitivity, swipe gestures, you have navigation, there's a built-in camera to them. So this is very much like a glass experience.
Google Glass, right.
They took glass and they really improved heavily on what it's supposed to do. The interface is entirely on the glasses themselves. They're supposed to have enough of a battery to last an all-day experience. There's no thumb control like what we had before with the Nord, the Focals by Nord that you got before. So that experience is it's all touch, and the interface just sits ever so slightly to the right, and you can actually change the position, and it was very nice. The UI wasn't final. But the only thing that we were able to go through was like through the gallery with some slideshows. But again, it has navigation, it has automation for control for the home, so you could use it to automate things. Very, very heavily focused on improving the experience. So where it is now, it is really good. It's going to get really much better before it comes to the market. So those were the exciting ones, and they weren't on the show floor.
So bad.
I told you.
I still have my Focals up in the closet, and obviously they don't do anything now. But it is. I love the relationships we've had with smartwatch manufacturers. I think there's a lot of cool stuff about an Apple Watch. Samsung.
Razer dropped a watch as well, so that was
right.
A nice one.
We're finally starting to see the Fossil Group kind of get back in gear with their smartwatch strategy. I'm always connected to a Mobvoi.
Mobvoi right there.
As much as I love smartwatches as that kind of notification system, everything has felt like a de-evolution, a downgrade, a huge step back from having an eye-level heads-up display notification system and I want that back so bad.
This
I feel
right
like I
now
was
is
the
the right
gorilla
direction.
who was taught sign language, and now I can't go back to the rest of my gorilla tribe because I'm living in the future, but that future's been taken away from me, and it makes me so sad every day. Every day, it makes me so sad.
But those are the things that, I mean, these are the reasons why we like CES, why we want to, we always love coming in. It is because you get a chance to see, I mean, the reality of this, the Nextwear G that you saw, I saw the early generation of that 2 years ago when it was still in concept. And the improvements that they've done over it.
Huge.
And the site,
Huge.
massive. It's like seriously massive. And it was great 2 years ago. And the way it is right now, it is absolutely the best. Like, I mean, seriously, one of the best solutions for portable experiences, because it works off your smartphone, it works off your PC, it works off of USB-C, so it just is there. This is still in that stage. I feel like we were 2 years ago, so it still needs to go through a couple of iterations. The touch response is very much right there. It's a double tap and a single tap for going back and forth, swipe gestures, camera configuration, like I said, navigation. It is going to be amazing when it comes out. And I love the fact that they were comfortable enough to bring us bring it with them to CES, because like I said, this is not on the show floor. This was purely pre-CES.
This is what I love. Every time we have an experience with TCL, there's like, oh, here are the real announcements. These are the things you can buy today. And then someone will open up like a jacket pocket and be like, and here's what might be out in 5 years. And they're just so upfront about all of their prototyping, and it's so refreshing. I mean, it almost gets frustrating because a few of those prototypes are so well done. You're like, this could be retail. You could sell this. Nah, we're not ready yet.
No, and they still brought out the what's it called, the Chicago foldable that they brought out. That was canceled last year.
It's like,
so they had
it's
a
like
couple
the Z
units
Flip style, the clamshell.
It is very much a Z Flip TCL style, and I think in the video that I dropped on Monday or Tuesday, I think somebody was like, please let them know that they copied the Z Flip, and I'm like, I don't think anybody was, the design is not trademarked to Samsung. It's a clamshell design.
Also,
it is definitely
anyone who gets like pissy about stuff like that is just showing how bad they are at tech, because Motorola was showing off concept designs on folding phones that clamshelled long before we ever got our hands on a Z Flip. So again, to me, it matters that we credit who got there first. Always, we should be looking at the refined.
LG booth showing us foldable, bendable displays way before we had. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We knew the tech was going there many years ago.
I've got a bendy phone from LG that actually did make it to market. I mean, it's right over there with a curved OLED that you could flex.
It was called the LG Flex. You're talking about the.
I actually have two of them. I have the Flex and the Flex 2. I should actually boot those up, see if they still work.
Because why not? When Juan wants to flex, he does it twice. It is definitely, like I said, TCL was so on point. And the other thing, they also had a massive, their booth was so much better this year. Obviously, due to the fact that there was more availability, but it was still like one of the best. Exactly, yeah, right there. Just I would. It's been a while since it's been flexed. Yeah, no.
I mean, like I wasn't expecting. Oh, this is harder than I remember.
It's giving a little bit of a it's not as much, but so yeah. Seriously, there was a lot of things honestly with TCL, so I was very happy, and got a chance, like I said, to play with all of that stuff, and hopefully when they do get released, we'll be able to play a little bit more, and see more tech. The TVs, of course, as you said, the wall, that was crazy.
Yeah.
The size of that TV, and it's so thin. Like seriously, like you could go to the side and it practically disappears. So, and they actually also have the rotating displays. Like,
oh, cool.
You remember Samsung a couple of years ago, they did that whole thing that turns otherwise. TCL had it in their setup, and I made a reel about that on my Instagram. They have like a whole row of them, and all the TVs just tilt upwards, and then they tilt backwards. So. And gaming monitors. They're actually getting into the gaming monitor business.
Oh, that's cool.
Like because I went up to the PR rep, and I said, hey, have you guys ever thought? I mean, you're making so many amazing things. She's like, hey, let me show you this side of the booth. I'm like, huh? I'm like, oh crap, I missed that. So yeah, gaming monitors.
Come with me, and you'll see. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
We just got demonetized in a copyright strike, and I apologize. That was terrible.
I'm so happy. I'm just happy we're not monetized in the first place. So Party on. Party on. That's all I could say. It was amazing. And I mean, honestly, the only thing that topped that entire experience, and not to take any kind of focus off of them, was the Razer booth with their concept. And Razer, like, you remember Linda, right? Remember a long time ago, you and I, we were at CES, we saw that one. There was a whole debacle going on that. So Razer,
one of them got stolen or something like that?
Absolutely. And then the following year, they didn't bring the concept because there was a whole thing about it. But this time, they have a new project. It's called Project Sophia. And it is seriously the ultimate gaming desk ever. There's just no way to describe it other than you have to see it. Interchangeable modules on the desk, a PC, a full-on PC built into the desk. It's like a laptop, Razer laptop, basically built into it. A massive NVIDIA Shield, NVIDIA TV. What we saw, again, it's not like the TV, the monitor wasn't brand new, but the technology that they were building in there with the desk, everything configurable, everything over the PC, and you can touch configure, RGB controlled with one of the best gaming chairs ever. Like, I seriously geeked out at that. And I really, like, I was like, but they're like, of course, this is a concept. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but they knocked, yeah, exactly. Project Sophia, and it looks even better than that. Let's just say this. Yeah. That is amazing, but it just looks way better. Like, oh my God.
And it's so Tron. I don't know if anyone remembers the original Tron where David Warner is sitting at the MCOM desk and he's got a laser etched keyboard in the glass of his desk. And ever since then, as a little kid, I just thought, like, that's the coolest, most futuristic thing I could ever possibly imagine. And to see, like, the potential of this kind of stuff actually, you know, it kind of finding a real retail channel is also just crazy exciting.
I was very happy to see that. I mean, on top of, obviously, they had the new Razer laptops. They had the new the watch, again, that we talked about just a second ago. And they had that one on display. Some upgraded new accessories for gaming, controllers, headsets, chairs, a whole bunch of things. I mean, it was a much weird. That was the weird part. TCL this year went way big. Like, they had a much bigger presence. Razer was kind of like the opposite. Their booth was slightly smaller, and they were more sitting on the side a little bit. But they were right when you got into Central Hall. Like, as soon as you got in, you could not miss Razer. It was like right there. And then you had to kind of go through. You hit Hisense, and then you hit TCL, and then you hit Samsung. It's kind of like you navigate through the maze of what it is. But yeah, I was very happy. And then Razer, of course, you know, I'm just happy that they were able to make it and bring the concept. Because, like I said, pictures don't do it justice. When you see it, when you're standing there, you're like, oh wow, this is an actual product. Like, this is there. I just want you to make it real, and I will reorganize my office for you. I will do it.
I mean, I won't be happy about it, but I'll do it.
Yeah,
so
no, I know.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
So what I need is then that giant, right? I need that giant Razer desk, and then I'll also set it up with a NEX dock monitor on the side, so that I can kind of plug in everything and keep my phone connected. And then, as soon as I step away from my desk, I'll need those TCL glasses.
So you can get everything controlled and
all of CES just encompassed in one nerdy flowchart.
There's a truck already coming towards your house right now. You just need to wait outside and flag the guy down. Says, please deliver CES to me.
Just not FedEx. Just not FedEx.
I hope not. No. I've had, or even DHL for that matter. Sometimes, like, I've had things coming. I don't understand why they would ship a package for me from China that's supposed to come to California, which is the shortest distance possible you could have done. Straight line. No, it has to go to Cincinnati first, because you know why. You know, the tour of the country first. And yeah, so there's usually shipping companies. I mean, we're kidding. Obviously, they're definitely very stressed. There's a lot of things going on, but yeah, it's always a challenge. FedEx, UPS, DHL. Anything international is always going to be kind of
fun, but not in like a fun way. It's just it's fun.
But one of the other things, obviously, that was announced around CES and it wasn't at CES, kind of a thing. As you guys know already, obviously the OnePlus 10 Pro officially kind of like unveiled the design. We know what it looks like. We know the specifications. For the most part, on paper, very similar, with the exception of the SoC, like, you know, 48, 50, and 8, 32 on the front. We expect that 5,000 milliampere, slightly faster charging. The design's been, from what I've seen, at least from my responses on my videos and so on, it's been a little bit halfway, you know, in the middle. Some people like the design, some people don't. I'm interested to see what they do on the improvements on the software, what they can do to improve the camera experiences, and when we start seeing some images and so on, and how things are actually performing.
Well, have you been spending a lot of time? Because my SIM card is now kind of split duty between my Pixel 6 as I'm waiting for
this is what I've been
Pixel
rocking.
6 update.
And
But what I mean is between this and the OnePlus 9, especially the OnePlus 9 Pro, 2 updates in, because like they pulled their update, then they brought it back. There was a patch for those of us who jumped on the update early, and then there was one additional patch after that.
Oh, and of course I got my Pixel 6, of course.
Oh yeah,
6 Pro.
Minus one issue that I've had with live caption. Live caption is the main bug that hasn't been worked out yet. My OnePlus 9 experiences have been very good on ColorOS, especially for the camera improvements, where video quality is improved. I shot sequences on my scooter review off of my OnePlus 9.
Nice.
That worked out really well. And then also that weird shutter delay, because like the shutter on the OnePlus 9 was always fast, but then the AI would pick a different frame than the exact moment that you hit the shutter.
Actually hit the shutter, yeah.
And so if that was the sharpest frame, then it would be a lag, there would be a delay. So I've been really positive on OnePlus 9, and ColorOS seems better in many regards than Oxygen OS was.
I've always wanted some of the optimizations on ColorOS to come over to OnePlus. This has been, it's something that I think should have happened quite a while ago, but so the biggest thing obviously is the announcement that was launched is for a China launch. So the device is going to be launched in China. So more than likely it's going to be running ColorOS, not actual Oxygen OS. Because as you remember last year, Hydrogen was no longer being supported and ColorOS took over OnePlus devices in China. So initially what we're going to see essentially is it could, if for the lack of a better word, a good preview of what the Find X4 Pro is going to look like operating on. Because if history repeats itself, which it tends to do when it comes to these guys, the back camera setup may be very unique, which is absolutely great, but the front-facing experience is going to be similar. Like similar display panels, similar experiences there. No word on US yet. They just said later that they're not giving. There's no information, but probably within the next couple of months.
And,
or maybe
and I mean,
so.
let's be clear. It's the U.S. that's making the most angry noise about OnePlus. So why send phones to that market? If you're going to sell like crazy in China, in India, throughout Europe, you satisfy those markets first while everyone's dealing with shortages and components and supply chain issues. I think to me, what's going to be interesting to see is ColorOS does a much better job of giving the user control over the Snapdragon 888. Oxygen OS had that weird background processing thing that would try to throttle performance in certain ways. And at least here, it's just more like Samsung. I've got a battery setting, and I can say I need full horsepower or shut it down. I'm really curious to see, because it looks like this is going to be kind of a TikTok year, where not a lot of the big number specs are going to change much. You don't really need to mess with the camera sensors. They're fantastic. You don't really need to mess with the screen too much. It was already ahead of the curve. Can they build the hardware around that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which is more powerful, but also seems to run hotter than the 888 at peak load? Can you build a phone around that more reasonably with a bigger battery and faster charging?
They went up to 80. That was the surprising part. Yeah, I just like, wow, okay. Because 65 was crazy fast. That was like 32, 33 minutes from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
80 is like, okay. It's going to be one of those where
80
you're
is
like,
going to be even faster.
You'll be like, you plug it in for 1 second. Oop, I'm done. Thank you. That's going to be one of those.
Ouch. I'm done. So that to me becomes the big challenge. I don't think that there's a lot they need to address. Like in terms of tech, the OnePlus 9 Pro was well ahead of a lot of these tech trends. So I think it's okay if we take kind of a year just to sort out what's going on in SoC manufacturing and fabrication to try and rein in battery management issues, thermal issues, and make the better daily driver phone.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how that lands, because obviously, I don't know what, in like 4 or 5 days, we're going to start getting an onslaught of Asian reviewers tearing into this phone. So it should be, I'll be really curious to see what ends up happening. But I think this is going to be another one of those years. If you're rocking a Snapdragon 865, maybe even a Snapdragon 855, and you don't care about the 5G, you're probably going to be in good shape unless there's a very specific need that is being addressed by some of these newer phones.
We have to, yeah, I want to see how it's not just the 8 Gen 1 with the power, but also the capabilities with the ISP, the triple ISP configuration. What options are they going to enable and creative options that they're going to provide us? But at the end of the day, realistically, as you said, 855, 865 is still very capable in the market with, again, understand, I mean, the 865 has 5G. 855, some models did. So depending
but not
on which
really.
one, it was a X. I want to say it was a separate modem, like the McLaren edition, right? The OnePlus 7T Pro. That was a long title.
But what I'm talking about is
Yeah.
the 8 Gen 1 addresses some sort of like some uses that companies like OnePlus were already ahead of the curve on. So, you know, maybe it's going to be a bit better performance when it comes to shooting 4K or 8K video, but the OnePlus 9 was already ahead of the curve with 4K at 120 and 8K at 30 frames per second, not this weird 24 frame per second thing that most manufacturers just kind of fell back on. So you go to your 8 Gen 1 and you would hope that it maybe performs a little bit more consistently. Maybe you can shoot longer stretches of video before it overheats. But if you're on a OnePlus 9 Pro, you already had that. You weren't waiting for Qualcomm to catch up there. OnePlus was already ahead of the curve. Same thing with the Vivo. Like the crazy night video and night photo processing on that Vivo comes from an investment in custom silicon through BBK. Now we're waiting for Qualcomm to catch up to that. I miss that phone so much.
Dude, this phone has been so good. I mean, you know. 95% of my B-roll
I know.
has been on the Vivo.
It's so
good.
It's so good.
It's not just, it's crazy good. It is so crazy flippin' good. And to top it off, I think Juan knows already, Android 12 drops on it as I land in Vegas, of course, because that's when it would happen when Juan doesn't have the phone, because that's when it would,
Yeah.
So I DM'd.
It was, okay, so hold on. Before we wrap up this podcast, it was so cute. TK texts me as soon as he lands like, hey, so this just showed up. Do you want me to install it? Like he was actually considering waiting so that I could get it.
Yeah, I
install it for myself.
It's his phone, and I feel like every time I get it, because the same thing last year happened when I got the Duo, right? I got it from you, and then the massive update that fixed a whole bunch of things lands the moment I get the phone. So of course, why this year would be any different is no question there. So yeah, so Juan gave me like, hey, yeah, just go ahead and install it. Obviously, a lot of improvements. The UI does work a lot better. The camera, the transitions between the lenses is still, I think that's stuck. It still takes a little extra second.
It's gonna be sticky, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little sticky, but when it lands with a great image. So literally, like everything, like the TikToks that I've been pushing out, all of them, not TikToks, sorry, Reels, Instagram. All of them.
They're the same.
They've been shot on the Vivo. The biggest thing on it, honestly, I wish I had network connectivity so I can actually do it, but otherwise I'm transferring images, but I'm creating the content, producing it, getting everything done, and just transferring it to the phone to upload it to the platform. Or whenever I'm on Wi-Fi, because like Showstoppers didn't have Wi-Fi, Pepcom had, but it wasn't as good because everybody was on it. Yeah, so, but for the most part, yeah, it has been a workhorse. Just a champ, seriously. Like everything and anything I threw at it, it handled it with ease. The Android 12 update was actually pretty clean because I don't really have a lot of things on it yet. It was more just like I set it up before we left because we just did the exchange, and I just took it with me. I'm like, okay, I'll try it, and then it's seriously handled everything. So thank you, thank you for supporting.
I thought it would be a good
the
fit
trip in your own way.
For how you were maybe looking at shooting some stuff. I mean, because I've been tearing into your Xiaomi and obviously spending some quality time with your Fold. But every time I go to reach for like camera stuff, it's like, oh, right. Oh, TK still has it.
Yeah, TK.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's because that's how we do it. We always no, I totally agree. I mean, if I'm able to hopefully get one of these myself at some point, I could definitely see this as being a solid performer for any experience. The lenses that we had, front-facing camera experience, it hasn't been as good as I feel like, but I think this is why you live in the back sensors, and every single one, even when I'm shooting like long range, has been really good. Even with low light experience, it still shot and did really good for me. So the Samsung keynote, I was shooting a lot of content from there. Actually, our thumbnail today was shot with the Vivo at the Samsung keynote before the keynote started. So that's the thumbnail for this for the show today. And as you can imagine, it was low light, and I chose a bad seat. I sat all the way in the front, and they had all the cranes was there. So like 90% of my footage has cranes going up and down and moving sideways. I'm like, yeah, it's just not my thing. But speaking of which, you know, as you can imagine, last thing I want to talk to you guys, you know, we're almost at the time there, but Dragon Ball phone is a thing now?
Oh.
Yes.
Did you get to go see it?
No. So, okay.
Oh, okay.
So Realme did an unveiled, so Realme did an announcement, I think it was early this week. It was a launch of their new Realme GT, the Realme GT2. The Realme GT2 is their new, obviously, 8 Gen 1. It's going to be going on with everything. But at the same time, they also announced a custom edition, a limited edition Dragon Ball Z Neo GT2, Neo GT2 Neo. So it's the one that I did a
GT
giveaway
Neo
on.
2.
Yeah, sorry. The GT
Again, names are not great. I'm wrapping up a OnePlus Bud Z2 or Z Buds 2 or some, I don't know. It's numbers and letters. Just come up with a name. Yeah.
It's the Dragon Ball phone. That's, for all intents and purposes, that's what it's known for. It's the Dragon Ball Z Goku edition phone. It is available currently, as you can imagine, with all custom edition phones. They're always generally available in China. I'm trying to find the best way to find one of these guys because I need one in my life.
You do?
Because I really like the Neo 2, and that was the reason we did the giveaway on that. It's a great phone, runs the Dimensity. It's still a very powerful, I think the 1200U, if I'm not mistaken. So limited, yeah, right there. So I totally missed on this. Somebody tagged me on Twitter. I think was it Omar? I forgot if it was Omar or somebody else. Yeah. So look at that phone. Like,
yeah, it's real pretty.
Oh my God.
Orange and blue is good. That's my mom's high school team colors.
And it comes with all the stickers.
Like
there's a whole bunch. It is an amazing color. Like the right set, the customizations, Realme this year. Look at that. Yeah, right there. Let's enjoy that. Let's have a moment of silence. Just enjoy. It's not here, but
so starting TK's GoFundMe so that he can have his own GT Neo 2 Dragon Ball Z limited edition.
Not a long title at all. Not a long title at all. I'm honestly, like, I was surprised that they came up with it. Like I thought, because it's a Z, not a Super, so it's like they went with the older, the Dragon, the one that's more popular.
That's great.
But so yeah, no, it's, obviously there's like
it's a Snapdragon 870 according to this.
Oh, I thought I saw somewhere where it said the 1200, the Dimensity 1200. Okay, maybe
that's still real good though.
Dude, that's 865 plus, man. Yeah. I would rock that in a second. So, in the progress of setting up the GoFundMe for the purpose of setting up of reuniting Dragon Ball with Dragon Ball, and I had a whole bunch of people like, everybody sees me like every other day. We're like, hey, so how many Dragon Ball shirts did you bring? I said, I brought one for every single day, my friend. I got one for every day. It has to be. You got to see me fresh every time, man. Every time. So that was a nice little surprise out of left field, because I knew about the announcement. You know, Realme, I made the teaser about that, but the Dragon Ball phone was like, seriously.
That's big.
I woke up on that. I woke up on that this morning. Like, it got to be in the show. It is one of those things.
I think, you know, what's kind of interesting. I'm actually kind of writing up a script for reviews.org. I think from the people that actually got to go to CES, there's a much different feeling about CES this year. For a lot of people kind of looking at CES from the outside, it seems like this was an underwhelming show, and yet so much stuff was really announced. So many products were really shown off. I mean, we didn't even get to, we would need to do a whole separate episode, 2-hour live
just to cover everything.
Just to cover all the laptops that were showing off. I mean, literally, just that product segment got hot. TVs were hot.
Asus, Razer, massive laptop updates this year. 3080 Ti is built in. Oh my God, yes.
So I know there's like going to be a lot of kind of sort of techie whinging about, oh, CES was such a bust, but it's kind of refreshing. It's just kind of nice to hear that those experiences on the show floor, for the people that did get to go again this year, there was still some of that CES spark. There was still some of that CES charm. It's the way that we get our tech year started.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that as compared to where we were last year and the uncertainty of CES 2021, this feels like we're off to a better start, even though we're not fully out of the weeds, or I should say, we're not fully out of the woods just yet with all the issues that our industry has.
And actually, even the organizers were very much looking into making sure everybody was safe. When you picked up your badge, you got a kit, one of those quick test kits to be able to make sure that you know
Nice.
if you're feeling anything. They gave additional ones at Showstoppers, and then they sent out an email last night saying that you can get even a third one today if you're able to go in.
And that's huge, because let me tell you, it's been hard buying those.
That's what I told the guys over at Showstoppers. I said, you realize you're handing out gold bullions right now. It's like, what do you mean? Like, these are impossible to find. You can't get them without waiting weeks. And then they're like, yeah, we know. But CES seriously focusing on safety. Masking, everybody walking in, sanitizer everywhere, even in the press room, even in the media room. It was all focused on that experience. So obviously we'll have to wait and we'll see how things kind of go within the next week or so, how things kind of evolve on that. But overall, I'm glad that it did happen. I'm glad that it was low-key, just more of a chill environment. I wish it would be more like that every year. I know it obviously may not be. It would more likely be back to where we were. But it was for the people that showed up, it was enjoyable. And there was still things to cover, even if it was virtual. LG attempted to have something in there, even on their booth, because they had the floor, and it was more virtual on that. NVIDIA made some announcements as well. It was a lot. I mean, Qualcomm would going in heavy on.
Qualcomm was there in force.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to be in every. They want to be in every car now. It's not just being on your watch, in your phone. I can see the goal of what Qualcomm is trying to do, and in partnering with so many other car manufacturers. So yeah, you're right. It could literally be a couple hours of just sitting here talking about every single event and every single announcement, and we wouldn't even be doing it justice, as it would take you days to finish CES. The South Hall, unfortunately, was closed. That was how you felt that CES was different. Like, you get in, South Hall entirely was closed, and Central Hall, I would say, was about maybe. I want to say it's about a 70% occupancy. You went through areas where there were supposed to be booths, and you're walking through. So it's different, but it's, like you said, a good step back. In the right way. I guess that would be the best way to say it.
I think that's kind of the right note to wrap this up on. I mean, I'm just really glad that you seem to have a pretty good time. You got to spend some quality time with all of our tech buddies that we only ever get to see at trade shows. The lighting just woke up, so apparently your family's raring to go here.
They listen to me enough,
we should let you get going here. But thanks for jumping in this morning to kind of lights out again. I love it. But thank you for jumping in so that we could at least have this chat. And I think it's going to be a part of an ongoing conversation as we look at. I mean, again, we've been very public for both of us about what conversations we're trying to have on our YouTube channels, about tech in general, about consumer experiences and consumer electronics. And 2022, to me, seems like it's going to be one of those years where all of this stuff is in flux, and we're going to have to define our own fun. Like, we can't just roll up to a product showcase and be told, this is the new phone and it's going to be fun and you're going to have fun with it. Now, I think a lot of people are looking at like, well, but what do I really need? And what am I really going to use? And that, to me, gives us a little bit more power in that conversation. Absolutely. Where do we find our own fun? So I'm glad you were able to find some fun. You were able to find some fun in Las Vegas. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? At CES in Las Vegas, I don't know what I was doing, man. I must have stumbled on some things, yeah.
For sure.
But I appreciate you guys, of course, and
of course.
it is a little bit a day late today, but I mean, definitely appreciate having you guys hanging out with us. We'll be back, of course, as usual. I'm going to try to keep to my schedule for tomorrow morning, and we'll hopefully have another Android Bay episode. Hopefully I'm hoping the internet stays well. And just to kind of a little bit of something, I've been using the A7 IV as my webcam for this entire event. And once we did that little trick with the heat thing, it's been working good. The battery's only down to half, even though it's supposed to power it. It actually hung for over an hour. That's actually really good.
That's very encouraging.
Crispy footage as usual. Sony, sponsored by. No, I'm not sponsored by Sony.
It's so funny. Like, I've been cooped up in my office for 2 years now. I get real cranky when I need to charge a battery because my cameras are all just powered by AC adapters now. It's like, oh, this battery's not even charged, and I got to go outside and shoot something now. Ugh. So bad. Anyway,
that scooter video was really good.
Yeah, the scooter video was great. You guys can check it out. It's the Okai Neon, and I had lots of fun zipping around my neighborhood. Let's go ahead and put a pin in this now. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, TK, for carving out a morning. Get back to your family. Go have some fun with your last couple days in Las Vegas. And folks, be on the lookout. TK's going to try and stream tomorrow, and I'm going to be back Monday morning with a sort of a podcast recap on everything we've been talking about for the Monday morning tech chat. So be on the lookout for that. Everybody, thanks so much for watching, for sharing, subscribing, being a supporter of all of these channels that we've got, just to kind of keep track of all of our podcasts and videos, and stay tuned for some fun stuff coming up. For Best of Our Week, this is TK and Juan. Be safe, take care, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.
Take care, everybody.